guys have been able to get out of him so far this season. Obviously, he plays some interesting roles for you guys, some valuable roles. But sort of curious on your perspective on what he's been able to do for you guys as a veteran, an extremely veteran guy, if you will.
Yes, X is one of our more experienced college basketball players on our roster, and I lean on him to bring a lot of different things to the table outside of the obvious in terms of shooting and scoring the basketball. He brings a great presence defensively. He's able to guard multiple players, good understanding of the game, late game, a lot of confidence in him guarding the basketball or putting him on the other team's best offensive player, because I think he does a tremendous job of staying in front of the basketball and contesting shots. Offensively, when he was at Old Dominion, he scored the ball a little bit more than he is scoring for us right now, but his role was a lot different there. There have been games this year where he has scored the basketball for us, but his presence and the intangibles really stand out to us game by game and more each time we play. So having a veteran on the team who has some really good college experience, who's also had some success in terms of being named all defensive team or things of that nature at his last school. So he brings a lot to the table, and we're very happy that we have.
The connectivity that he's provided you guys has kind of stood out at times, I think. Is that something that you've kind of used as something to look as kind of a teaching moment for other guys to say this is kind of the skill set that you need to evolve into at some point?
Well, his experience has helped him in terms of knowing what other things he can bring to the table, right? So like when you're not scoring the basketball in terms of getting a lot of shots, you have to find different ways to help the team be successful. And X has experience in that at the college level. And so, his communicating, talking, encouraging teammates, calling out teammates, all those things go hand in hand with what he brings to the table.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Coach, the Buckeyes 9-0 at home this season. How do you get your players to prepare to play in that kind of environment at this point in the season?
Dylan, will you repeat that for me? You cut out on me halfway a couple times in your question.
Yeah, I was saying the Buckeyes 9-0 at home this season. How do you prepare your players to play in an environment like that at this point in the season?
Well, it's Big Ten, right? It's another great opportunity for us to go on the road and get a win against a quality team on national TV.
Sorry, guys, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Dylan, sorry, let me get back to your question. Well, as always in the Big Ten, it's another great opportunity for us to compete up against a quality team. In Ohio State on national TV, we've proven that we can go out and compete with teams. We're 2-2 against ranked teams, and two of the losses have been by a combined 3 or 4 points, I think 3. So we have to make sure we stay focused. We got to compete tip to horn, and we can't have any lapses, especially on the road, so the other team's crowd can get into the game. But they're a great team at home. They shoot the ball at a high clip. E.J. Liddell is an All-American. Zed Key's a beast down in the post. So they've got a lot of quality players across the board in that lineup. So we got to make sure we just come out and we play with a great deal of intensity and attention to detail.
Other questions, guys?
I'll throw another one out. I think this is the most days you've had between games since conference play resumed back in early January. How much, if any, did that you think that helped at all? And did you guys maybe take an extra day to kind of catch your breath a little bit after all this?
Well, I guess we'll see when we play, right? I mean, from the standpoint of having that many days. And so, after our last game, we took the day off. came back the next day and had a light practice. And, this time of year, guys are beat up, and that's on every team. So we had a chance to give guys a chance to let their bodies recover and get their legs back up under them while we still got in some work. Tomorrow's just a different schedule for us because today we practiced this morning, we just finished practicing, and tomorrow, we play an earlier game. And so, we got to get their bodies going a little bit earlier than what they're used to. So, all those things you make adjustments for, but I'm hoping these last, handful of days we had gave our guys' bodies a chance to recover and get recharged.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Hi, Coach. After the Michigan State game, you and the players were both talking about how you were going to kind of feed off the energy and the fight that was there against Michigan State, even despite not necessarily coming out with the win. Kind of day to day in practices, how are you seeing that fight displayed when it's not necessarily like in a game, on the court, whatever the case may be?
Lauren, it ebbs and flows. There's certain days and certain activities that we're doing, scrimmaging, we're turned up. Sometimes it's not as high as what we need it to be. But it's a stop. We talk about it, we challenge to raise the level, and you go from there. A lot of times you have to figure out ways to help your team be successful when things aren't going well for you. Like, who can change it? Who can make a energy generating behavior, whether it's deflection, a stop, talking on defense, drawing a charge, coming up with a 50-50 ball. Those are ways that you change the energy level when things aren't going well. It's not necessarily always making shots, because you can't hang your head on you're outside shooting the basketball to give your team a little bit more energy juice. And so that's always the message when things get stagnant or we need to pick up our energy level.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?